So hello and welcome aboard Independence, and this is a special video that I'm producing for the YBW forum, Yachting and Boating World. Yes indeed, it's just for you guys, because I've been asked for some videos. There will be lots more videos coming generally about my experiences with this boat, but this is just today. It's Sunday, it's 1:30, it's the 12th of November. And last night was my first full night on the boat. I came down on Thursday night from London. Friday, Thursday night I spent in the hotel. Friday I'd completed on the boat. Then my mother came down and we did some stuff on the boat, and then we stayed in the hotel because we didn't know what was going to be on the boat. Left over, turns out practically everything. So I just needed to buy some more beddings and some stuff yesterday, which meant that last night was my first night on the boat on my own. So that was an interesting experience. For example, finding out what the 4 switches in the heads did. There was 2 for lights and 2 mysteries, and then I've discovered that one is for the extractor fan and one is for the tail rail. So I'm going to do a quick tour of the boat. It is very windy outside. This camera hates wind, so you probably won't be able to hear what I'm saying when we go outside. That said, it is a very sunny, lovely November afternoon here, and I know that some of the people on the forum, on the YBW, when I first sort of came, they sort of thought, well, is he real? Is he sort of, you know, taking the mickey? Is he really going to do this? And then I did do it, and here we are, I've done it, ba-dum! So this is a 2002 Trader 535 Sunliner, but it was launched in late December of 2002, so it's near as makes no difference to 2003. Now, under the first owner's ownership, who had it from, let's say, December 2002, they sold it in 2005 after keeping her mainly in Gibraltar and Spain, and the previous owner then bought her and has done an awful lot of work to her. Mainly seems to be concentrated around about 2008 onwards. For example, what we're looking at now is a wet bar, which is obviously, as we all know, it's locked. It's got a barbecue, it's got a sink, and it has a little fridge, and I probably won't use it, but it's there. And this crane here, or the support for the crane, you'll find this on lots of Trader Sunliner 535s, but this was actually replaced. This isn't like factory fit, because the previous owner needed to raise his Williams rib onto the top of here, and the crane and the support were groaning and like this, so the engineer said that they then produced this and load tested it, and it's safe and everything else. But when you are lifting the rib, it is very interesting because the boat lifts so much, and you'll see that this is on the port side. Traditionally, they're usually over here on the starboard side. I have had a terrible cold the last week, which has left me with a terrible cough, so apologies while we do this. Let's go outside. It's a very windy day here. So used to be that the rib would be kept here with the passerelle and the blocks and the chocks. That was all removed, and so this is what remains. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this, to be honest. I don't plan on going to the Mediterranean. This needs replacing anyway, and it sticks out and takes up otherwise very good space that could be used there. But anyway, this is the outside. Next to us here is a Princess V48. Unusual port helm and the associated door. Now let's just have a look at this. This is this sort of boat was originally what I was looking for, you know, a large seagoing planing fast boat. Woohoo! But as time passed, I started to prefer the idea of this, you know, these nice wide side decks, the safety aspect, the rails, and the fact that, as my mother said to me when we were speaking, if you're in a port, if you're anybody, you don't know boats at all, and you have something like this, you think, wow, look at that, that's flash, they got a lot of money, cool, wouldn't that be nice? Then there's this, and you think, Oh, that must have come a long way, because it looks like, you know, it could have done, this could have done as well, but this is more mini ship, and this is more showy offy speed. So generally the outside of the boat is in a good condition. It's dirty and it needs a good polish, but otherwise the teak decks are a lot of meat on them. The caulking is still flush with them. They haven't been sort of degraded with jet washing and scrubbing over the years. There's no cracks, dings, bashes to any of the hull or the gel coat. It's just a bit dull. It just needs bringing up and a bit of TLC, especially sort of up on some of this areas here. So because of the wind, as I say, we will go inside. Just a little boat, isn't she? Just for me. But I like a challenge. Let's go up here to the fly bridge. Oh, I didn't have a lovely laugh this morning when this sort of blew off and I came up here. It was covered in water and the wind caught it on that corner and all of the shit flew up with the water all over me. So it doesn't fit properly. I can't really do better than this. It's not going to come off. But it does need, there's no fixing points apart from here and here. Anyway, this is the Williams rib. One of these, although it says track vision, one of them's a satellite telephone and one of them's satellite television. There's a Raymarine camera and radar and the bimini thing. A lot of the traders, this is polished stainless steel, this isn't, but it's an Opk-Mare, however you say it, crane. And as you can see, a lot of this again, it's in the, it's not chalky, it just needs something, you know, just needs a bit of attention and then she'll be sparkling and nice. And things like this, it's not cracked, but it's kind of, you know, you can't feel the crack, but it, again, this sort of stuff just to bring her up to you know, how I want her. Forgive the poor editing. So this here is the door, stainless steel. A lot of these you'll see are aluminium powder coated with white paint, and then you'll look around the edges and there'll be bits where the paint's flaking off. So also what's unusual about this is all of the glass is very tinted, as you can see. So we'll come in. And the minute you come in here, it's very quiet and it's a very warm, cosy boat. And when I was looking at different traders of this same type, I thought, you know, this seemed to be the most sort of welcoming, and without the big horseshoe seating area and big table, you've got this area here. I especially like the port helm, and then you've got this area here which is, you know, a fixed table, custom made. It opens out, and also, why bother, you know, using your muscles to raise and lower the table? It also has all these teak blinds. I managed to break one yesterday. I snapped the cable here, and you'd never know, and I repaired that. If you've ever seen these, inside there is the smallest grub screw, but a sharp knife came to the rescue. So that was me being stupid, reaching through the slats to open the window. We'll not be doing that again. Okay, so over here we've got the television, and the television might work. Yes, there we go. It will fall back down into its little house. Look at that, guys. Don't you just love that? And the women are just thinking, men and their toys. And look at this. Then it didn't just snap down. Lovely. That's my Wi-Fi dongle just to get internet. Apologies for the cough. The Marina has internet. It's not as quick as 3 Mobile's Wi-Fi. I might be getting rid of all of this. It's either this is going to go or that's going to go. But one of the two needs to go because I want to have... Basically, it's probably going to be here because it only houses the television, shelves and wine glasses. To have a desk for my needs. Need a desk. So it's either here, there, or convert the twin cabin. So that's going to be costly. That's going to lose some seating but be cheap. This is going to not cost very much to get rid of. So we'll see. Not right now though. That's not a right now business. Okay, where shall we go? Let's go aft. So here is the galley with a new hob and a Smeg oven and a Smeg built-in microwave, which was a bit temperamental. I think some dampness had got to its circuits, but we've got that going properly and cleaned up all in here. You can start the generator from in here, you can check your water gauge from in here. I would prefer the water gauge to be on the helm, to be honest with you, but that's because that's what I'm used to. There is a fridge freezer which is 12 volts and full of booze because that's what they left me with. In here is a washer dryer which I've thoroughly cleaned up and is gleaming. I haven't tested it yet though. And had to replace so many of these bulbs, but they're all going to be LED. I think there's 51 LED bulbs I need to buy to replace and bring, because each one of these is 20 watts. 12 volts, but you know, it's ridiculous. So this is my cabin. Again, the finish in here is what they call the super yacht finish. So it's all the veneers match and it hasn't got all the slatted cupboard faces, which I quite prefer like this actually. So lovely bed, and bought the bedding yesterday, which I think matches. It's, you know, doesn't look out of place in here. Each cabin has its own TV. This is pointless to me. I don't really watch TV that much, but it's nice to have, I suppose. Here's the heads with the lovely granite worktops. Need a new tap because the chrome's gone funny on that. But the mirror's in great shape. There's no corrosion going on here. Lovely shower again. You've got a little seat here, port and your extractor, and more lights. All of these lights all got to replace the bulbs for LEDs. When the survey was carried out, they said that you couldn't have access to the head's discharge valve, you know, the seacock. And this was sort of a major concern, especially in the event of, you know, it failing in an emergency. And I thought, bloody hell, you know, I'm going to have to cut holes in the sole and all sorts to try and get to the seacock in order to find it. I don't know what the man was doing when he did the survey, because you just open that cupboard here, take that shelf out there, and these two things fall down and there's your valve. And it's even easier in the forward heads. It's just lift up an inspection panel on the floor. So there was two things that, you know, oh dear, oh that doesn't look very good, oh blimey, oh no, it's alright. Engine room, shall we have a quick look at the engine room? There we go. Oh blimey, I'm a big man, it's a small hole. That was rude. Okay, I'm not going to go fully in. Alright, I will. Alright, for you, because you're boaty people. And you're interested in all this sort of stuff, aren't you? Bloody hell, Christ almighty. Okay. We have a new Master Volt battery charger, which is just about in the most inconvenient position ever in the world, behind the hot water tank. We've got a generator battery, engine starter batteries, we have the domestic batteries over there. and apparently that's it. I don't know, I haven't looked at the sizes of what capacity batteries we've got, but my intention is to replace all of the batteries with lithium batteries. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for lithium for starter. I just might get some AGM, but certainly I want to have lithiums for the house bank, and have about 500 amp hours or more, 600, which is suitable for my needs. The generator with 458.8 hours. Can you believe the engine in here is the same size engine as what's on Broad Ambition, the riverboat that I part own? So these are the Yanmar engines, as you can see. When you look at other boats that I've seen, there's one in Scotland for sale with these engines. They're in a terrible state, corrosive wise. These are in excellent condition. They've had all of the parts are all, you know, the filters and stuff, they're all the Yanmar. It's only ever had the original Yanmar recommended oil and coolant, so they've been thoroughly looked after. Over here is all of the, that's the fuel filter, a nice clean fuel, no bits in it. That's for the generator. Full tanks, which is handy, just about 3,000 litres of free diesel for me, so I don't have to worry about filling her up prior to departure for going up to Lowestoft next year. And automatic, these can close to help suppress a fire. There's the you know, automatic fire extinguisher. The exhaust pipes, as you can see, this is all new. Just have a look at this. August 2017. So again, loads of stuff happened in 2017, or in the summer. And there we have the main sort of fiberglass here, and this is the thing, this is why these boats are so bloody loud, because there's no, that's your room if you're going to have, you know, a muffler or something, and then it heads off out to the stern. So not the quietest of boats when they're just, you know, in a marina. This is the air conditioning unit system, which is an HFL system, and it's noisy, it takes a lot of power. It's obviously from when the boat was first commissioned. I think there's nothing wrong with it, like pressure wise, refrigerant wise down here. What basically happens with this, you have a central unit, this acts as a chiller, heating the glycol mix or cooling it and then sending it off to the air handlers in the different cabins. And frankly, I'm just a bit, you know, unimpressed with its performance for the cost of what these are. Now, of course, I'm not going to just rip it out yet, but if in the summertime it doesn't do a very good job of making cold, then what the hell's the point in having it? So, which reminds me, I'll turn this seacocks off, because I don't like having them just left on when I'm not around, and I'm not going to be using the system. So, yes, preferably not leaving everything just open. These are the big Raycor filter here. This is the fuel balancing system. There's 3 fuel tanks and there's another one over there. Can you imagine changing the bloody fuel filter or changing the bulb? Oh, I'm not sure I like this. I'm going to think about if this could be somehow reconfigured. What would you do? There you go. There's a question. Guys of the YBW, if you've got something like this, okay, I mean this one's not too bad, but what would you do? You've got to clamber over these compressors and then, oh, I mean, I don't like, I just think it's just a messy job. It's going to be a difficult, messy job, and it's not going to be particularly easy if suddenly you need to change them. And because the whole fuel system seems such a bloody complicated thing, because you've got starboard fuel tank, port fuel tank, and then a centre fuel tank. there's all sorts of valves and levers. The engineer was telling me that this has to be return balance normally closed, because if it's open and the boat lists, it sort of naturally drains more fuel through siphoning into the starboard or the port tank, and then you take on a big list. So it is a complicated setup as far as the fuel system goes. So that's what I can tell you about that. That's just my only little sort of concern, really, is the changing of the filters and so on. Bash me head. This here is the hydraulic tank for the bow thrusters. So yes, I think that is enough of the engine room. Let's just come through here. Oh, look at the lovely teak and holly flooring, yes. Hold on a moment. You'll figure out how to do editing one day, won't you? Right. Put the steps down. I think there's a lot of people that would quite like to have an engine room that they can practically walk around. So that's the galley. We've done the galley, we've done the engine room, we've done the saloon. Air handler there, outlet. Air handler here, outlet. Helm. Lovely door to the port. Okie doke, so here we are. And it looks okay. It's a bit of a mishmash. There's some quite old stuff here, like this autopilot. There's some very small things like the rubber boot. See, it's perished. But that's, you know, it works. They've perished. You know, it's just little things that just need to be changed over. We've got this Simrad VHF, which actually links up to here. This works, but this screen doesn't work properly. The LCD has broken down. Sorry, you can't see. And it just doesn't really work. This is a forward facing sonar. This is a ICF Nav6 Navtex. Again, the screen, it just old and damp's got to it, and it's just not very clear. That's the satellite phone. The clock needs a new battery. I need a new stereo, but the barometer works. Coming down here, we've got the Raymarine 120, which is this. So it's the sort, you know, well, lots of people are used to this, you know, it's not touchscreen. There's a lot of lag while you cursor down and you wait for it to go, and then it redraws the map and range in and range out, and you press your buttons down here. So that's gonna go, and that comes over to here, where we've got various things like the washer wipe system. Why does that need to be here necessarily? You know, you can have the switches for that up here. You know, what do you need down here really? So what I'm considering doing is keeping the engine warning lights for port and starboard engines down here, but the engine instrumentation gauges to be either moved down to here or put up to here, to use that this space here can then have space for a plotter. Well, the wind's really got up. I'm glad I did that cover upstairs. So yes, to change over all of the gauges, so that basically you can just, in your line of sight, you'll have your you know, navigation system, and then just update things like these here, which are just LCD, replace them with, you know, TFT screen versions, and generally improve the feel and look of the helm. Not that it's really anything too bad with it at the moment. These are the ZF gauges. I can't remember. Let's try and do this. Let's try and remember. Now it's beeping at me and it wants me to find neutral. Okay, so now we're in gear. So if I started the engines now and I used a bit of throttle, we would head off. So you press and hold the button, move the position forward, move the position forward. We're flashing, so we're out of gear. I'm going to give just a touch of throttle, okay, and let's just see what happens. Not bad. Let's just come aft and just see what's going on outside. It's raining. I would go down there and show you, but as you can see, the real wind and the rain's coming down now and everything. But we've got cooling water, so that's from cold. We've got good oil pressure. Obviously we're not going to have any water temperature here. We've got volts, both good on the volts. So I just wanted to sort of show you the starting procedure and how they are and how they run and how it sounds sort of inside and how smooth they are really. So I'm pleased. Before buying the boat, I had no idea if the engines would even start or work. So I'm almost out of time on this clip. I'll redo another clip and we'll head forward. Okay, so I've switched off the engines. All has been returned to peace and tranquility. So we'll come back down here. This I haven't got to really sorting out yet. So this cabin here is the twin. They're across ships. Some of the traders, they're sort of in an L-shaped configuration. Again, in here, lovely mattresses, even in here, and the beautiful joinery, again, evident. There's also this thing you can have open to let some natural light into this cabin here. And here is the forward double. This has been great. Got this in Wilkinson's to you know, keep things like the cushions in a easier way and keep the damp out and so on and so forth. So that was really good, and it's really good that the previous owners left the hoover on the boat. So things that I've got to sort out is this slidey blindy things, seen better days, and it doesn't retract back as it should do, so that's a thing to fix. There's a number of these bulbs have blown, so again these are all part of the bulb replacement program. And I've got to wipe down all the surfaces in here and everything else. But obviously you've got your ensuite here, which doubles up as the day heads as you go through. But otherwise, again, and that's how we get down to the toilet discharges. I can't believe that in the survey. There was like the two major points was the seacocks for the toilets and the rudder bearing. So, you know, if I have the boat lifted and the rudder bearings are fine, then the surveyor wasn't exactly the best, was he? So, oh, there's a bulb gone there as well. There is an old telly in here, an old CRT, which is a bit laughable. Is that going to power off? No? Okay. Oh, it has. Good. Okay. Like not to leave things on standby. I don't know what to do with that space. Certainly, I'm not interested in having an old CRT telly in here. But the fact that you can just hide it, so what? You know. So this is it. This is the boat. This is how it looks. Not having a planing hull with all of the chines, you don't get the same amount of bow slap, that swoosh, splush, 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 which is nice. This cabin has the air conditioning heating thing, which also controls what goes on in here. So if you're in here, you can't control it. If you know, tough luck. So, but she is a beautiful boat, and I'm very pleased that I have done what I've done, even if it was done in a rather unorthodox fashion. But now we can get on to, you know, enjoying her and improving her and learning about her and all of the rest of it. And I think there'd be some people that will find it a bit sort of, you know, appalling that, you know, I've got such a capable vessel and the majority of the time is going to be moored in the Norfolk Broads on the River Waveney or the River Yare. But there we go. Also, the price of keeping it here, for example, I've been very lucky. I've got a free mooring here till next March, transferred, so I'm not even having to worry about shifting the boat particularly quickly, and I'm not having to pay any mooring fees. So really, despite the fact that this all seemed a little bit of a crazy thing to get involved with and do, and I wouldn't recommend a lot of people taking the risks that I took, but I thought they were very calculated risks, and I think so far they've paid off. So to be here and to basically have bought the boat, have all of the systems apart from a couple of minor things not working, like the stereo, having to just basically spruce up the outsides of the gel coat, not have to pay for a mooring, not have to pay for the tanks to be filled with fuel. Yeah, it's worked out really well. And have all of this lovely new upholstery done. I mean, I'll just show you. My battery's going to run out any moment now, but we've reached the end, I think we can conclude. But like this rug, I mean, it's enormous and it's lovely. It's, you know, would have cost a fortune and it's just been left. So, yeah, I'm very happy. So there'll be plenty more videos and so on and so forth. But this for YBW, you know, thanks for watching. Sorry it wasn't a very professionally done one, just, you know, straight off the bat. But I'm going to be heading back now, so I need to be getting on. Actually, I'm going back to London, and then I'm going up to Norfolk to help fit solar panels, stereos, and deck king to Broad Ambition. And if you don't know, Broad Ambition is a 1966 classic former hire boat built by Jack Powles in Wroxham, and she's all teak on teak, and I and 4 others share ownership of her. So, you know, practicality for the riverboat, I've got that sorted as well. So when people sort of say, well, you can't go under any of the bridges on the Norfolk Broads, can you, Robin? No, I can't. I'll just go off my other boat. So, but this one is all mine. I've got no sort of help. I'll do this all on my own. So, but that's why you start off with something and you get used to things and then you move up. But I just happen to seem to have skipped a few levels. But anyway, that's it. Till next time. I'll update you as and when generally through my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.